on a lot of coaching calls, and I see what's happening across the atmosphere and the YouTube sphere and what's happening in the economy. And I like to get out. I like to see how people living. I'm gonna be in Florida this weekend taking care of some business. So we have a lot of things happening in our life. You know what I see the number one wealth killer is? If you had to guess in the chat, what the number one wealth killer is inside of the chat, what would you say? I'm curious as to what y'all think that is. What is the number one wealth killer if you had to guess inside of the chat? Just curious. What's the number one wealth killer? They ain't clone me. I'm better than ever, baby. I'm better than ever, baby. The link to the Patreon is pinned to the top of the chat now. What's the number one killer? I see debt, women, food, credit cards, liabilities, debt, divorce, pride, food. Nope, I haven't seen it yet. Women, debt, women, divorce, consumer debt, disciple debt, divorce. Finally seen it. Finally, somebody caught the wave. You know what the number one killer? The number one killer of wealth is in the United States of America. Let me read these super chats for you. It's your car. It's not complicated. It's not divorce. It's not any of that. It's not credit cards. It's not laziness. It's not a lack of knowledge. All of those things contribute to the death of your wealth, but it is absolutely, positively across the board, because you got to take into consideration this, right? Everybody don't have family court problems. Never had it. Everybody not getting divorced. Some people not even getting married. Everybody not having children out of wedlock. Everybody don't have issues with the people that they lay next to every day. Everybody don't have lifestyle problems or lifestyle creep. They just may not make enough money. Some people don't make enough money. Some people make more than enough money, but they don't know how to manage the money correctly. But the one common factor that I see across the board for the majority of people in the United States of America on all socioeconomic levels is everybody feels, keyword feel, doesn't necessarily mean that it's true. Everybody feel like they need a car. When I went to New York, I was so perplexed. It was one of the weirdest things that I had ever experienced in my life, because I couldn't understand for the life of me why everybody needed a car in New York. Why do you need a car in New York? Isn't the idea behind being in New York, Boston? I love visiting Boston. They have a phenomenal public transportation system. DC, even though DC in a lot of parts of it is a POS, DC has a great public transportation system. Some of the fastest growing, greatest cities. We just got our rail system in, and we're trying to expand on it in order to continue to grow the city. I love what's happening in Detroit. Even Chicago, I won't even dare get on the public transportation or the trains over in Chicago, but Chicago is supposed to have somewhat of a relevant public transportation system. The idea behind live, working, and plan, or moving closer to your job or whatever, is that you don't need a car, or if you have a car, a lot of y'all don't even need a car. Even if you're in a relationship, even if it's two of y'all, you feel like everybody in the house got to have a car. Why? How do you live in New York and you need a car? And then when you get a car, especially if you have a decent one, they got to put bumpers on the front of it, the rails on the front of it, because it's almost a guarantee that your junk gonna get nicked up, because can't nobody drive in New York. The true cost of something is similar to how I describe it in real estate. Most people jump into a home, but they don't understand the true cost of home ownership. So when they get into these places, a lot of what happens, and I'm gonna break it down from a real estate perspective, and then I'm gonna go over into your vehicles. A lot of what happens is lifestyle. First and foremost, you're paying too much money because you're paying based off of what you think you can afford from a payment perspective, and not based off of how much money you're going to spend in the total cost of home ownership. Interest, PMI, private mortgage insurance, regular insurance, property taxes, maintenance. Property taxes will wallop you. It will absolutely destroy you, especially if you're in a place like Chicago. And I'm not even going to bring Chicago to the front of the congregation today, ironically enough. But all of these things are wealth killers. And when people don't truly take into consideration the true cost of home ownership, I know that they're not looking at it from a business perspective. They're only saying that it's better than this, or I might as well pay a mortgage instead of rent. So they're choosing the worst between two options because they've limited themselves in information and they're not looking at it holistically as to how they can then leverage their situation in order to become better versions of themselves. Even when you think about housing, housing is not supposed to be something that you then become interdependent on in order to satisfy society standards of what it is that you're doing. We say, hey, why you ain't got your own place and so on and so forth. I know people that live in a massive place and they all decide to live together. Obviously, they're not from this culture, but they all decide to live together because they pool their resources, and it allows for them to have more of a family structure, and they have the ability to make sure that everybody has shelter that allows for them to go out and then make more money as a result of it. They're looking at housing based off of what it was purposed for. And then there's other ways to look at it if you want to look at it from a business perspective, but you may not be suited to look at everything from a business perspective because you don't understand real estate and you don't know how to strategize and leverage that in order to become more successful or financially savvy as a result of it, right? Your talent or the thing that you're more suited for may be a little bit different than this person that decided to get into real estate. Some of y'all want to be landlords, but then you're going to become a slumlord and you don't understand how the business works. And so similar to real estate and similar to home ownership, when people don't understand the true cost of home ownership, and so they wind up spending 2 and 3 times more, and they paying for it 2 and 3 times more over what it is that they truly purchased the home for, and then they justify it by saying, well, it appreciated, and the alternative is that I was renting, but you don't really understand the game, and so you really not leveraging or getting the most out of your situation. It is for you to have a roof over your head, not necessarily for you to look at it in comparison with somebody else in order to justify your situation. But similarly, when I talk to people, and every single person, they all feel like, I don't care what your situation is. I don't care if you just got out of debt. If your car break down, you're not trying to fix it. You're not going to put it in the shop. You're not going to get no tires for it. You believe that the American dream, and it is your right to have a car and have a car note that go along with it, because most people that get a car note to go along with it. You're not going to get a cheaper car. Your friend's going to convince you you're trying to be socially accepted. You think that somebody is going to look at you differently if you don't have a brand new car, 2024, 23 and all of this other stuff. Man, don't you know that don't nobody care about what you drive? And at the minute that they see you, even if they like your car, they go on and they live their life. And 5 seconds after you walk away, they never think about you again. They're never going to remember you. They're not going to remember your name. They don't care anything about you. And I'm not telling you not to drive nice cars, but I'm telling you, don't let it be the thing that kills your wealth because you think that you need it instead of looking to substantiate it based off of what you need for your lifestyle. Some of you live really close and you could take public transportation. What happened to the bus? Anytime I go to a new city, every time I'm in the city of Detroit, one of the reasons why I'm moving into the city is because I'm no longer going to have to drive a car when I'm splitting my time unless I'm going out to the other place in order for me to be able to maintain and do the things that I really want to do. The worst thing about it is it's 10 times worse than people that don't even understand the true cost of home ownership. Because at least real estate in most markets at most times is an appreciating asset. Your car loses about 10 to 20% of its value the minute that you drive it off the car lot, even if it only got 1,000 miles. You're not buying a Lambo. You're not buying a Bugatti Chiron that's going to appreciate over time. You didn't buy a Ford GT. Fam, you bought a Nissan Altima. You bought a Dodge Charger, right? You bought a Ford Fusion. You bought whatever it is, a Chevy Malibu, an Impala, a Toyota. You bought something that is going to get you to and from. It is for you to get from point A to point B. Now, when you get to the point to where you can truly start to do whatever it is that you want to do because your investments are starting to pay for your lifestyle and you've accumulated a certain net worth, sure, go out, splurge, but stop leveraging cars and thinking that you have to have a car note in order for you to satisfy and justify your existence on this earth for people that don't care anything about you. They don't care about you. They don't care about your car. As a matter of fact, you don't even want your car 2 years after having it because it ain't got the new car smell no more. You don't wash it. You don't take care of it. Your disc brakes, your brakes need to be done. Your rotors need to be done. Transmission fluid ain't never been changed. You don't know how to maintain it. That's why some of y'all need an electric car, because the maintenance is different. You ain't got to get no oil changes. You ain't got to get no spark plugs. Some of you need to switch over simply because your lifestyle don't warrant you to be a good steward of something like having a car. You driving a 3,000-pound missile. You ain't got no car insurance, right? The true cost of car ownership is crazy. I've been driving the gas car every single day back and forth getting to where I'm going because both of my cars are in the shop. I had to stop at the gas station like 3 times. I'm like, what is going on? And I'm getting regular. Car insurance, crazy. You don't even have car insurance, a lot of y'all. Gas, maintenance, car note, interest that you paying off on it. Man, it is taking up 33, 40% of some of y'all budget. They say the average car note is approaching over $1,000 a month. That's just the car note. That ain't even all of the other things that you got to pay in order to have it. Registration every single year. Man, let me tell you something, bro. The minute that you start to do things that's in your best interest and stop focusing on what everybody else is saying and whatever everybody, so what, they went and got a new car. That ain't for you at this time. You need to make the adjustment so that you can really get to the bag long term. Connie, why are you feeling some type of way about EVs? If it's not for you, it's not for you. It's for me. I love it. My Porsche Taycan is an awesome EV. I love it. Rita, she loves her Tesla so much so she don't even want to give it up. I'm talking about getting rid of her car next year and getting something else. She's like, no. I love. For some people, they love it. For some people, it's not for you. Our charging costs are nothing. We're never going to have to replace the battery. It's different for us. But some of y'all is rolling in a F-150 and you can't afford to put $200 every week into your car in order for you to get back and forth to work. It's a fact. Some of you don't need an EV. You don't need a gas-powered car. You need your feet, walk, catch the bus, catch the train, catch the public transportation. You will be able to see different things that you have never seen before, noticing stuff in your city, having a good time, interacting with people, so on and so forth. Some people need to just sit down for 5 seconds and make the adjustment. Home chargers are not you don't need, see, more information. You don't need a home charger. I've never bought a home charger. I just used the one that came with both cars, both the Porsche and that comes with the Tesla. The Tesla, literally, she comes in, she plugs it up, she charges it overnight, it gets the full charge, and she go back and forth, and she get almost 300 miles on a charge. She never, ever has any problem plugging up, and she only charges it up to 80%. Same thing with my Porsche. My Porsche gets over 320 miles on a full charge. I come home, I plug it up. I don't have to get anything installed. It does not cost $7,000. They give you a charger and all of the adjustment and the connectors with it. When I come downtown and I drive here, I get to plug up for free. It's all misinformation. You have no idea what you're talking about. But because you live off of misinformation, this is the way in which you make your decisions on a daily basis. Anyways, stop feeling as though you need to have a car and readjust and take an assessment of what your life is so that you can make better decisions and then you can get this debt paid off and you can start to build wealth. It ain't nothing like looking at it and having a positive net worth. Listen, even if your net worth is $5,000, that means you're above board. You're above water. You're worth more than the average person. If your net worth is $5,000, that means you in a positive. If you can get out of debt and you at zero, that means you can breathe now and you can start to make some adjustments. When you ain't got nothing slowing you down, you ain't got nothing that you're required to pay, but you're doing it because you just can buy stuff as you see fit based off of the fact that your investments is now starting to pay off. It's different. It's different. Somebody said electric cars are great for cities, horrible for long highway trips. That's false. I drove the Tesla from Detroit to Pittsburgh and back and had no problems at all. As a matter of fact, when I bought the Tesla, I bought it and I picked it up in Cleveland and I drove it back to Detroit. And the price of gas is going to continue to go up.